to Teacher Talk. This is our exit interviews for Mr. Milano. That's me.
And Mr. Ponce, that's me.
Okay, so let's get started with our first question. Well, let's talk about parents now, because again, parents also they see their kids as much as we see them, basically. Have you been able to keep up with parents and keep them in the loop about their kids?
You know what? Semester one, it was a lot easier because we still had that traditional classroom setting. You know, for example, for the open house or the welcome back night, we're required to make phone calls home. We have to call all our kids in our advisory class and invite the parents to come out. So I think that we do that in the first couple of weeks of school, whether it be week one or week two. We got a roster of our advisory kids, along with the parents' name and phone numbers. And we have to call everyone and, hey, you know what? My name is Mr. Ponce. We're gonna have open house or welcome back to school night on this day. I would really appreciate if you can stop by my table, say hi, come by my classroom, kind of get that face-to-face interaction. So I think semester one it was fairly easy, and then since Hopeville has the that one-to-one student technology piece, meaning every student has a Chromebook at their disposal, and because the gradebook is all online, it makes it easy, for parents and students, to log in, see what work was missing, what work has been done, what they got on that assignment, test, or quiz. So communication, semester one for me was easy. Parents emailing me regularly, making phone calls home when needed, for behavior, or if I was going to keep a kid, after class for tutoring, or if I was going to keep a kid after class because he was misbehaving and I'm kind of giving the kid detention, I just a quick phone call home, letting mom or dad know, hey, you know what, your son or daughter, wasn't behaving in class today. As a result, I'm going to keep him after school, a couple minutes, not a big deal. You know, where the communication piece really became an issue for myself was with this whole COVID-19, epidemic. Making the jump from the traditional classroom setting to the all virtual online. In my mind, I thought it was gonna be so smooth. I figured every kid has a laptop now. Every kid in my mind, every kid had access to internet. So here I was thinking, this is gonna be easy. I'm gonna log in every day, so are my kids. It's gonna be a virtual lesson. It's gonna be awesome. But that proved not to be the case at all. And because it's we're dealing with this new epidemic, even when I do, get a minute to call parents, to kind of let them know, hey, your son or daughter isn't really doing, any of the assignments right now. Either I won't get an answer or I will get, a response saying, oh well, my kid tells me, that they've been doing all their work. You know, so I still try to communicate with parents, but now I'm kind of shifting more to doing the virtual like the Google Meets or the or the Zoom that we're doing right now. I just think because if you're emailing someone back and forth, you don't really capture the tone that that parent is talking to you in. So you don't really understand if the parent is coming to you from an angry perspective, if they're coming to you just from a genuine, curiosity perspective, and that's something, that our principal, Mr. Revelo, he's the one that told me, Mr. Ponce, every time you're gonna deal with parents, do it over the phone. You get so much further, and your point comes across way more clear because you're able to understand what tone you're coming in. You know, email and paper, you read it the way your mind wants you to read it. I mean, not face to face, I'm sorry, over the phone interaction, the voice, you can hear, like I said, the tone, the mood, and it's easier, if something was to escalate, it's easier to kind of diffuse the situation over the phone than, typing, back and forth to each other. So that's something for me where my communicating is improving. I'm shifting away from the traditional emails and texting, if you will, to more of the face to face or on the phone interaction because like our boss said, it's a lot easier and it makes go a lot smoother.
That's so true. And actually, it reminds me of, I don't know if you ever watched Key and Peele, but there's a sketch about texting. There's a
Yeah.
text about sketching because yeah, your tone and your voice can mean so much different whether you're in person or with a device. And personally, I also had the same thing. I like talking to parents over the phone, and
Mhm.
this is my fourth year teaching. And every year, I like to do at least three phone calls every week,
Mhm.
three phone calls home. One asking for, or two asking for help from their part. Maybe a student is misbehaving, or maybe a student is not doing their work, and one, helping or telling a parent that they're doing a great job with their kid, saying the kid has improved or the kid is doing great.
And you know
But
what, Mr. Modano? One of
yeah,
the things that I really liked that I heard from one of my colleagues that you do real well is that I heard once a week or once a month, I could be wrong, you send home a printout of the kid's progress in your class for the parents to look at it and sign it.
that's
You
right.
know, that may not be a traditional, phone call, but it's still a form of communication where the parents can see, the kid's academic progress, whether it be what homeworks they're missing,
Yeah.
what the test score was, and then you have the kid take that home and get a parent signature on it. So on your end, you're making sure that the kid not only takes that home, but the parents have to sign it. So to me, I think that's a pretty good way of communicating, with the parent, you're communicating their kid's progress in your class, whether it be good or bad, you're letting it be known, hey, Mr. or Miss, here's your son's or daughter's progress, sign it, return it. If there's any questions, call me, email me, we'll figure it out.
You know what? I totally forgot about that because of the quarantine, but that's true. I every month I do that not only to collect evidence that I've been doing it, and hey, parents, either you know about this or your kid is forging your signature because it has happened. But not only that, but I also make it a big grade because I tell the kids, hey, it's a quick, easy points. I want to help you out, so just show it to your parents. No big deal.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, thank you for that. I totally forgot about that. And
Yeah, no
recently,
problem.
not only because I sold my prep this year, I haven't been able to make these calls,
Mhm,
but I have started using Remind more.
mhm,
Remind has been a lifesaver because I've been able to text parents, and now I've learned how to use it more because of the quarantine,
mhm.
and it's been my go-to app now. It's a great versatile application,
You
so I've
know,
enjoyed it.
I've had challenges with Remind. Some kids try to tell me, "Oh, well, I don't have a smartphone, or my parents don't know how to use technology, or my parents are kind of old school, or my parents don't have a phone." So I kind of try to shy away from that.
Mhm.
Another thing that I forgot to kind of talk about is the use of Google Classroom, especially
Mhm.
right now during the quarantine where we don't see our kids every day. The Google Classroom is, their classroom now.
Yeah.
That's where all the assignments get posted. That's where the kids can figure out, what to do this week, what's the material we're
Mhm.
going to cover this week, what are the standards we're hitting this week. So Google Classroom has become their traditional classroom now. And that's realistically where most of our conversation with the kids takes place now. You know, uh, I do my lesson. I post the assignment. If students have questions, they'll just write to me as a comment on it. And I've actually have had parents, comment on it before as well. So it is proving to be a form of communication. But it's like you said, because of this COVID-19 epidemic that we're in, I'm starting to use it more and more, and I'm able to see a lot more of the features that comes with it. So I'm starting to to see a lot more of the how would you say it? Starting to see a lot more of the positives, if you will,
Mhm.
that can come out of using a system like Google Classroom every day.
Yeah. And you know, one thing, whether we call on a phone or we call on Remind, whatever, the one thing I do like is I don't know if you ever messed around with Synergy and add notes to their student accounts. That
You know
makes
what?
such
That's
a
something.
weapon.
Yeah, no, that's something that our principal as well. He kind of showed me how to do that, and you can actually log in. The date you made the phone call, the
Yeah.
time, and then it gives you a little space that allows you to a brief summary of what that interaction was like.
Yeah.
And the reason why we decided to do it that way was because a lot of these kids who have an IEP in place or a 504, whatever it may be, some of those kids require the extra attention, require teachers to go above and beyond, to help those kids succeed. And I feel that as a teacher, communicating with the parent and and the student themselves, and giving the parent a little update of how the kid's doing, allowed the parent to not only help us out, but it helps the kid also get the best of both worlds, to where the parent can help the kid at home, and we help the kid out in the classroom.
Yeah.
And being able to log it, keeps evidence and tracks, that communication was established.
Because that's what I went when I was starting out my career, is that one of the teachers told me, yeah, make sure you log everything. Buy yourself a little notepad and keep it around with you all the time. And I'm like, I don't want to keep a notepad with me. Like, now, thanks to technology, everything's on the cloud now. And luckily, we don't have to carry notepads around for us.
And the cool thing about Synergy is that, as a teacher, I can go in and read whatever you logged in about that student. So if you and I have that same student and we're both having similar issues, we could log in and be like, look, Mr. Moedano, on January 1st that he called home because of this. January 10th, Mr. Moedano called because of this. And here I am, March 5th, and I'm calling for a similar issue. So we have evidence, of not only the behavior, but that communication was made.
Yeah.
So again, should we need to have some kind of meeting in place, we can print that out and be like, look, here's our evidence of communication. Yeah. This is the date, this is the time, this is the topic. So it is proven, to help, not only us as individual teachers, but as a team, collectively, to help us understand, the common behaviors of the kids in all 7, of the classes.
That's right.
All right, man.